Welcome to your first weekly Exodus challenge. This week we are talking about the story of Moses hearing God's voice out of the burning bush. You can read about it in Exodus chapter 3. But our challenge for this week comes from the passage where God tells Moses to remove his sandals because he's standing on holy ground. And our challenge for all ages is to create a space which for you is holy ground. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what that means for adults, and then we can talk about what it might mean for children as well. Normally, this is what my devotion space might look like. I have a Bible here and a hymnal because sometimes I read hymns. My iPad is there because that's where I have music, pens, colorful pens because I draw. I have a bunch of devotional booklets here that I might use, a journal, coloring book, all sorts of things that I might use to help me in prayerful contemplation. This is not what I'm talking about. To create a holy space, the first thing we need to do is clean all this up. Start with a clear, clean space. Much better. Now what we're going to do is try and create a space that is worshipful, a space that speaks to holy ground. So I'm going to add little by little things that make up my altar, my holy space that help me focus in on who God is. In our Old Testament traditions, there is often talk of prayer shawls, and modern Jews use them to this day. When you come into a time of prayer, you might lift this onto your shoulders as a way of reminding you that this is a time of prayer. So you could put a beautiful scarf, maybe a blanket that you place on your lap, something of that type here. Then for me, I might add a piece of art, or 2, or 3. That's too many. These are something to look at, to gaze at during my time of worship. And I might move them around. I won't keep the same ones here all the time. For me, I like to add a candle. I like to add something living. I'm fond of rocks, so I might place a few of those. This then becomes my holy space. And when it's time for me to be at prayer, I light my candle, I look at the things around me, and I have a sense that this is holy ground. Those other things you saw before, I'll keep those near me. My Bible will be right over here, as will some of my other prayer books. But my holy ground is simple. It's beautiful. And it might change with the seasons. So at another time of year, I might want things to look more like this. This is a piece of art out of tinfoil made by a homeless man, Don, back in Pottstown, and a chalice from a dear friend of mine and ministry colleague, and a violet that a friend of Bud Branicki's gave me a cutting of. Or I could do something like this. These are a couple of pictures that I painted, a stole that my parents gave me at my ordination that was made in Guatemala, some crazy cactus that Joan Hoppy gave me a few years ago in a pot that I made with a Mothers of Preschool group, and the candle that the search committee used when they were trying to find a senior pastor. Lots of different ways that you can envision your sacred space. And those things like Bibles and devotionals, they're nearby and they're within easy reach. But the idea here is to set something that looks like sacred space, looks like holy ground for you. If you have children in your life, you would do the same sort of thing, probably without a lit candle, and set up some little corner for them. Young children often enjoy having a blanket over a couple of chairs and having a little tent to go into if that's possible. Older youth might want to set up a corner in their room. But the idea is to keep it clear of other things and set it up so that it looks beautiful, so that when you sit there, you have a sense of God's holy presence. Next week, we'll have a challenge of what to do with all those devotional books and colored pencils and things that we use as part of our devotions. But for right now, your challenge this week is to figure out what you might use to create holy ground. A special blanket or a cloth that you can put around your shoulders or on your lap as a signal of prayer time, a candle or some other light, something living, artwork, things that to you are beautiful and create a sense of holy. When you have created your space, take a picture of it and send it to me at church, lmartin@stjohnucc.org, or you can upload it to our Facebook page if you're able. We'll use some of those pictures in next week's Facebook worship. God bless.